Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Woodman, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will wrap up this video set series on the fundamentals of public speaking by providing a recap of what we discuss. Throughout this video set series, we talked about how you can become a public speaker by learning how to write speeches, convey your arguments, sound confident, and so much more. You learn how public speaking is key to conveying your message to people around you and inspire them to make positive change in our society, which is important for civic engagement. Let's go over the highlights of what we discuss. We talked about how to open your speech. The way you open your speech needs to easily hook your audience and keep them engaged so they do not tune out. In fact, the first 30 to 60 seconds are critical for clearly introducing your topic while capturing the audience's attention. Here is how to hook your audience. The first step is knowing your audience, where you need to understand who they are, their demographics, interests, and expectations. This allows you to adapt your language, tone, volume, examples, etc., so you can make your message relevant and relatable to the audience. Effective speeches are not one size fits all. Tailoring your approach helps audiences connect without changing your core argument. The second step is grabbing your audience's attention quickly, since attention spans are short. Instead of generic openings, speakers should begin with a strong statement, a provocative question, or a personal story to immediately hook listeners. The third step is keeping the audience's attention by building a connection with the audience. This includes making eye contact, avoiding reading directly from your notes, sincerely praising the audience, and sharing personal experiences. These techniques help audiences feel involved, valued, and emotionally connected to you as a speaker. We talked about how to effectively use feelings to persuade people. Emotions can play a crucial role in persuasion because it helps people connect with the facts you are presenting to them. While facts and logic are essential for supporting your arguments, they are not enough on their own to change people's minds. Tone, emotional expression, and connection shape how audiences interpret a message and decide whether they care about it or not. Remember, emotions are about connection, not to be used as a basis to prove something is correct or incorrect. Drawing on Aristotle's rhetoric, there are three modes of persuasion: ethos, which is the credibility of the speaker; logos, which is the logic and evidence; and pathos, which is the emotional appeal. Although many speakers rely heavily on logos, effective persuasion requires pathos because emotions strongly influence beliefs and decision-making. Neuroscientific research by Antonio Damasio supports this idea, showing that emotions are essential for rational decision-making. His work demonstrates that people who lose emotional processing ability struggle to make even simple choices, proving that reason and emotion work together rather than separately. To emotionally persuade people, here are three key strategies. 1, tell stories that focus on real people and personal experiences, which evoke empathy and engagement more effectively than statistics alone. 2, choose emotionally resonant language, as word choice shapes how audiences perceive events and feel about issues. 3, authentically show emotion by using your voice, expression, and body language to connect with listeners while maintaining composure. Essentially, feelings help audiences connect with, remember, and believe the facts you are saying because they feel comfortable believing you. We talked about how to show evidence in your speech. Showing evidence is crucial for building credibility and trust with your audience. Every claim you make must be supported by reliable facts, especially in an era where false information is widely used to manipulate narratives. You need to show you are going to be honest with your audience. While emotions and storytelling can help connect with audiences, they cannot replace proof, as I stated before. Research shows that facts still matter. Studies cited from Political Behavior and the Pew Research Center demonstrates that people want to have factual information, no matter if it challenges their beliefs. As John Adams noted, facts remain unchanged regardless of personal feelings or opinions. Drawing on Aristotle's framework of ethos, pathos, and logos, all three of them are necessary for persuasion. Pathos may attract attention, but logos, which is logic, reason, and evidence, is what ultimately convinces people. Emotions help people care about your facts, but facts are what prove your claims. Here are the steps to effectively use your evidence. First, find your receipts by gathering credible facts, figures, and quotes. Second, create your receipts by organizing evidence to clearly support your argument. Third, time your receipts properly by presenting evidence immediately after making a claim so audiences can easily follow and understand your reasoning. Using solid evidence strengthens your confidence, builds trust with your audience, and ensures your arguments are grounded in truth rather than feelings alone. We talked about how to criticize and challenge other people's arguments. You are going to disagree with someone's argument, and someone will disagree with your argument too. So it is important to know how criticism is given to others and how to constructively respond to criticism to have a productive dialogue. This is where ethos, one of Aristotle's modes of persuasion, comes in, which highlights the importance of a speaker's character and credibility. Since credibility strongly influences persuasion, it can be appropriate to challenge someone's ethos, especially if their argument is misleading, while also establishing your own trustworthiness. There are three types of ad hominem critiques. One, there is abusive ad hominem, which criticizes a person's character or reputation. Two, there is circumstantial ad hominem, which highlights potential bias or conflicts of interest. Three, there is tu quoque, which exposes hypocrisy or contradictions between a person's words and actions. While ad hominem arguments become fallacies if they're used to dismiss an argument outright, they can be legitimate rhetorical tools when they are used to question credibility, bias, or consistency, so long as they supplement rather than replace logical arguments. There are three ways to challenge someone's argument. One, challenging their character by revealing their motivations or relevant background behind making their arguments. Two, challenging their credentials by questioning their expertise or knowledge when they rely on authority to persuade people. Three, challenging their claims by examining their track record of past statements and accuracy as a way to see if they are being misleading right now. When you receive criticism, you can handle it by either clarifying your point, admitting you made a mistake and move on, or criticize the other person back if you believe the other person is not being sincere with their criticism of you. We talked about how to be great listeners. Being a great listener is essential for effective communication, persuasion, and debate. There is a difference between hearing, a passive and automatic process, and listening, an active and intentional process that requires focus, comprehension, and engagement. True understanding of others' arguments is impossible without genuinely listening to them. There are two types of listening: critical listening and empathetic listening. Critical listening involves actively analyzing and evaluating what someone is saying in real time. It helps speakers identify false claims, logical fallacies, contradictions, and moments where conceding a point may be strategic. Developing critical listening skills requires keeping an open mind, eliminating distractions, and taking notes to better track and assess someone else's arguments. Empathetic listening focuses on emotional connection and understanding another person's perspective. It requires full presence, attention to tone and body language, and a genuine effort to see the issue through the speaker's eyes. Techniques such as staying present, making eye contact, and asking thoughtful, open-ended questions help build trust, rapport, and mutual understanding. Being good public speakers is not just doing so much talking, but also making sure you are good listeners so you know how you should respond to someone. We talked about how to effectively use humor in your speech. Humor helps lighten the mood, makes speeches more enjoyable, and increases the likelihood that your audience will remember you and your message. Research shows that humor is universal across cultures and that laughter improves attention, memory, engagement, and emotional connection. Laughter releases dopamine in the brain, strengthens focus and retention, and acts as a social glue by building rapport and shared understanding between speakers and audiences. Humor should be used strategically, not just for entertainment, but to capture people's attention and help them connect with your argument. There are two main purposes of using humor in your speech. First, it is to connect with your audience. Making people laugh increases likability, builds rapport, keeps audiences attentive, and makes them more receptive to ideas. Second, it is to lighten the mood. Humor can reduce tension, diffuse hostility, and help present serious or controversial ideas in a non-threatening way. Here is how to effectively use humor in your speech. You should use self-deprecating humor to appear relative, allow humor to be spontaneous and natural, and be expressive with your body language and delivery. At the same time, humor should never be offensive, excessive, or unrelated to the topic. You should avoid announcing jokes in advance, practice prepared humor enough to sound natural, and always prioritize the substance of your message over being funny. When you use humor thoughtfully and authentically, it can be a good way to communicate with your audience, but you also must understand your environment and ensure you are being laughed with, not at, since humor is subjective with different folks. When humor is done well, it strengthens connection, enhances persuasion, and helps audiences remember you and the things you said. We talked about how to use the rule of three. This is used to organize your speech more clearly, memorably, and persuasively by focusing on three main ideas. This helps your audience follow along, recognize patterns, and retain key points from your speech. The rule of three is grounded in cognitive psychology, where research on working memory, particularly studies by psychologist Nelson Cohen, shows that people can reliably process and remember about three pieces of information at a time. In addition, humans naturally look for patterns, and three is the smallest number that creates a recognizable and satisfying pattern, giving audiences a sense of order and completeness. The rule of three is effective in rhetoric and public speaking. Famous speakers such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. used it to build emotional momentum and signal when when applause should occur. According to speech coach Max Atkinson, sequences of three phases often catch applause by creating a rhythmic buildup that audiences intuitively respond to. The rule of three is an organizing principle by providing a clear beginning, middle, and end, an idea dating back to Aristotle, and helps presentations feel whole and complete. You should identify three most important points you want your audience to remember and build your speech around them. Practically, you should structure your speech with an introduction, three main points in the body paragraphs, and a conclusion that reinforces those points. Telling the audience up front that the speech will follow three objectives helps them track your message. The rule of three can be applied in many formats, such as three arguments, stories, examples, or pros and cons. Overall, using the rule of three keeps both you and the audience focused, prevents rambling, and increases clarity, engagement, and retention. We talked about how to handle a Gish galloper. A Gish gallop is a debate tactic in which someone rapidly delivers a large number of false, misleading, or irrelevant claims to overwhelm you. The goal of the Gish galloper is not to present strong evidence, but to create confusion, exhaust you, and give you really give the illusion of authority by sheer volume and speed. The tactic is named after Dwayne Tolbert Gish, who was a creationist debater who frequently overwhelmed opponents by speaking quickly, confidently, and charismatically while presenting long strings of inaccurate claims. Because rebutting falsehoods takes more time than making them, opponents often appear unprepared or evasive even when the claims are incorrect. The nonsense is intentional and repeated despite prior connections, making the Gish gallop a fundamentally bad faith strategy. Similar tactics are seen today among climate change deniers, anti-vaxxers, and disinformation campaigns, especially online. Rather than attempting an impossible point-by-point rebuttal, here's a three-step strategy for handling a Gish galloper. First, pick your battle. Focus on one weak or representative claim instead of addressing everything. Use it to illustrate the broader pattern of the false information. Second, don't budge. Stop the Gish galloper from moving on and press firmly on the chosen claim until it is addressed or conceded. Third, call them out. Explicitly explain to the audience that the rapid flood of claims is a tactic designed to mislead. Expose the strategy and force the speaker to slow down and defend specific points. To be an effective speaker, you have to call out dishonest tactics someone uses, because if you don't, then people will believe them and get misled. By exposing the Gish galloper and making the audience aware of it, you can prevent false information from shaping the narrative and help restore productive, honest dialogue. We talked about how to express confidence. Expressing confidence strongly influences whether an audience believes and trusts you because you want to show you believe in yourself and your argument. Confidence is not a fixed trait or ability, but a belief in yourself that allows your skills to translate into persuasive action. Whether you have done public speaking before or are doing it for the first time, everyone needs confidence when they speak to people. Here are some ways to build your confidence. First, visualize your success. This helps shift your mindset and prepare your brain for performance. Research shows that mental rehearsal activates the same brain regions as real action and improves outcomes. Second, take risks. This builds confidence through experience, including failure. Volunteering to speak and practicing your arguments shows your willingness to try and learn how you can improve your public speaking skills. Third, keep good company. This involves being around supportive people who will reinforce your confidence instead of being around people whose constant negativity erodes your confidence. Surrounding yourself with encouraging voices helps counter internal self-doubt. After building your confidence, here's how to demonstrate it. First, body language is crucial as nonverbal cues communicate far more than words. Stand tall, keeping an open posture, avoiding fidgeting, and using purposeful gestures project confidence while also helping you feel more internally confident. Second, projecting your voice through deep breathing, clear articulation, controlled pacing, strategic pauses, and appropriate smiling shows you are exerting power and authority over the topic you are talking about. Third, making eye contact builds trust, shows focus, and strengthens emotional connection. Using balanced eye contact instead of staring while speaking and listening helps convey confidence without making others feel uncomfortable. We can think of confidence as a muscle where confidence grows with consistent practice, effort, and perseverance. We talked about how to maintain calmness and self-control. Staying composed is crucial because losing your temper or becoming stressed undermines your ability to effectively communicate, weakens your argument, and can alienate your audience. Calmness allows you to focus, respond rationally, and maintain credibility. Here are 3 strategies for staying calm. 1, breathe deeply. Controlled, slow breathing sends signals to the brain to reduce arousal and stress, which helps both your mind and body remain calm. 2, use laughter. Humor releases endorphins and other neurotransmitters while lowering stress hormones like cortisol. Smiling or laughing can help shift perspective, reduce tension, and keep you centered. 3, practice positive self-talk. Speaking to yourself in the third person, for example, using your name, creates psychological distance from emotions, which help you stay composed under pressure. Additionally, maintaining control involves focusing on what you can internally control, which are your emotions, responses, and mindset, rather than external circumstances or other people's reactions. Recognizing that you cannot control everything allows you to approach stressful situations with perspective and self-mastery. Things will get stressful, but remaining calm and having self-control, you don't let the stressfulness take control of your mind. We talked about how to practice your speech. This is to ensure you have confidence, clarity, and effective delivery. Even great speakers like Winston Churchill and Martin Luther King Jr. relied on extensive preparation and rehearsal to perfect their speeches. Practice allows you to know your content, manage timing, and handle unexpected changes. Here are the key methods for practicing your speech. Practice your appearance, which is your look. Use mirrors or record yourself to monitor your posture, facial expressions, and gestures. Ensure your body language aligns with your words and enhances your presence. Practice your voice, which is your sound. Focus on the 4 P's: pitch, power, pace, and pause. Record yourself to check your volume, tone, clarity, pacing, and elimination of filler words. Adjust the dynamics for emphasis, emotion, and room size. Practice your timing. Rehearse within your allotted time, ideally under the limit, to avoid rushing or exceeding it. Use full scripts, cue cards, or bullet points depending on your comfort level, ensuring there is flexibility and smooth delivery. Some other things you can do is rehearse your speech in front of your friends or colleagues for feedback. Experiment with different methods and keep refining your speech until you feel fully prepared. The amount of times you practice can vary since every speech is different, but thorough rehearsal is key to a polished, confident speech. The more you practice, the better your delivery in terms of appearance, voice, and timing. Proper rehearsal ensures you are prepared, confident, and able to effectively engage with your audience. We talked about how to make sure you are doing enough research for your speech. This is important for ensuring your speech is accurate, credible, and persuasive. Proper research prevents spreading misinformation and strengthens your arguments. Here are the key steps for effective research. First, brainstorming. Start by jotting down all your ideas, facts you know, and questions you have. Prioritize quantity over quality to generate options, break big ideas into smaller steps, and find your ideal environment for creative thinking. Second, deep research. Go beyond the first page of search results and use advanced search techniques, which are custom dates, quotes, minus signs, etc. Use Wikipedia as a starting point for an overview of a topic, then follow its sources to find credible, verifiable information. Check your sources by consulting original materials such as books, studios, full interviews, etc., instead of only relying on summaries or excerpts. Third, avoid confirmation bias. Research opposing viewpoints to understand all sides. Use steel manning, which is constructing the strongest version of the opposing argument, to anticipate counter arguments. Identify flaws in your own argument and refine your speech to take those into account. We talked about how to close your speech. This is important for leaving a lasting impression and driving home your key message. A strong conclusion engages the audience emotionally, reinforces your main points, and provides a memorable finale. You want to establish a purpose for your conclusion. This is where you summarize your key points, appeal to emotions, pathos, to motivate and inspire your audience, reinforce the stakes of your argument, and connect the audience back to your overall message. Here are some techniques for a strong ending. 1. Have repetition. Restate your core message to make it memorable. Use topping and tailing by echoing the points from your introduction. 2. Have a quote. End with a relevant and memorable quote from an influential figure to bolster your message. 3. Have an anecdote. Use a short story or personal example to emotionally connect with the audience. 4. Have a call to action. Inspire your audience to act or apply your message in their lives. Here are some do's and don'ts for ending your speech. Do think about how you will want to be speaking when you write out your lines. This is good for making sure your tone variance matches what you want to emphasize. Don't bring in new arguments or points right at the end that you have not mentioned before. That could be both distracting and confusing. The ending is for summarizing. Do signal to your audience that the speech is coming to a close. It could be those in the audience who have tuned out, gotten bored, or pulled out their phones to snap back to attention. You can signal this with your own pace and tone, slowing down, taking a pause, raising your voice, etc. Or you can do it with language by using phrases like, in conclusion, let me finish by saying this, etc. Don't just come to an abrupt halt. Make sure your very last sentence is planned out and, at the very least, sounds like a fully formed final thought. Do try to come up with a memorable phrase of your own at the end. For example, the late Steve Jobs of Apple used just 4 words to end his Stanford commencement speech in 2005. Quote, "Stay hungry, stay foolish," unquote. Don't go on too long. Set a time to finish and pre-plan an ending that allows you to wrap up on time without the need to rush. And if you go over your time, do not end your speech by apologizing, by saying, "Sorry for taking up so much of your time." It's totally unnecessary to say this and takes up time that you could otherwise spend on a meaningful, confident conclusion. All in all, a great speech ending repeats and reinforces your core message while engaging with your audience, leaving them inspired, motivated, and remembering your key points. Those are all of the main highlights from this video set series. To close this out, being a public speaker is an essential thing we need to do in our lives because it is key to letting people know what is on our minds, how we view the world, and how we should resolve issues. With all the changemakers we have seen throughout history, and even today, they had to speak up and speak out. They did not change the world by being silent and keeping their thoughts to themselves. We also know they needed to make sure their speeches were polished, and they used the fundamentals of public speaking from this video set series. By doing that, they hooked people to their message and brought them along in their journey. That is how I want you to see public speaking as a way to bring people along with you. You do not have to see public speaking as a scary thing, but rather a chance to get people's attention and persuade them to believe in your argument. You can see public speaking as a way to positively change people's lives because you are expanding their horizons and empowering them to be the best versions of themselves. You can also see public speaking as a way for people to get to know you better, which helps you build a sense of community and belonging when you know there are people willing to meet and understand you. By rallying people together for your speech, you will transform their lives because you have a message that you know will resonate with them. This officially concludes the video series on the fundamentals of public speaking. I hope you enjoyed watching these videos. I will be releasing another video set series that goes in depth with another topic from my civic engagement curriculum. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on the post notifications so you will be notified when I post my next video. I appreciate your support. Remember, you are powerful, you are capable, and you are the changemaker our society needs. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon.